In the landscape of consumer electronics in 2025, the tablet computer occupies a strange and often contradictory position. It is no longer merely a larger smartphone, nor is it quite a complete replacement for the laptop, but rather it has fractured into a spectrum of specialized tools. At one end lie devices of such profound capability, they rival high-end workstations, and at the other cite electronic pitfalls that serve only to frustrate and defraud the budget-conscious buyer. To navigate this market requires more than a spec sheet. It requires an understanding of the philosophy behind each machine. We have compiled the definitive hierarchy of tablets for this year, ranking them from the absolute worst investments to the pinnacle of engineering. This is not just a buyer's guide, but an autopsy of the current state of mobile computing. Number 10. We begin our descent at the very bottom of the barrel with a device that serves as a grim warning against the allure of the false economy, the Alldocube iPlay 60 Mini. This Chinese-manufactured budget slate represents a specific category of electronic waste that looks viable on Amazon but falls apart in the hand. Marketing materials promise a compact 8.4-inch form factor and dual SIM functionality, all for a price that undercuts major competitors by substantial margins, often retailing for under $150. It presents itself as the savvy choice for the bargain hunter. However, the reality of living with the iPlay 60 Mini is a lesson in misery. The heart of this failure is the Unisoc T606 chipset, an outdated piece of silicon that was already struggling years ago. Extensive user reports and professional analysis have revealed that this processor causes severe performance degradation. It is not simply a matter of apps opening slowly, but of the system itself buckling under load. Users have reported widespread app freezing crashes and total system instability. BGR's analysis was scathing, ranking it explicitly among tablets to steer clear of citing performance aggregator data that showed it trailing laughably behind even modest competitors. The software situation is equally dire, with updates frequently delayed, or in some reported cases causing the device to brick, entirely turning a cheap tablet into a paperweight. The touchscreen responsiveness lags measurably behind the industry standard, creating a disconnect between finger and action that erodes the most basic tactile joy of using a tablet. The Alldocube represents a trap. It attracts buyers with a low price, but delivers zero value, proving that in the world of 2025 silicon, you truly get what you pay for. Number 9. Moving slightly up the ladder, but staying firmly in the territory of problematic investments, we find the Amazon Fire HD 8 2023 model. This device represents a different kind of trap, not one of hardware failure, but of ecosystem imprisonment. Amazon has long treated its Fire tablets not as general-purpose computers, but as vending machines for its own retail and media services. The Fire HD 8 is the smallest standard offering in this lineup, and while it remains a current option in 2025, its limitations have become suffocating. The device runs on a heavily modified version of Android that deliberately excises the Google Play Store. This means no native access to the millions of apps users expect. Instead, you are confined to Amazon's own app store, a barren wasteland compared to its competitors. Wired's comprehensive review in November 2025 concluded that these tablets work best only for existing Prime subscribers who want nothing more than a faucet for Amazon content. The hardware itself is anemic, with a mere 3 GB of RAM, creating multitasking bottlenecks that make switching between a book and a web browser a test of patience. Reddit communities have been less diplomatic in their assessment, frequently describing the device as little more than an ad delivery vehicle. While the battery life is passable, the screen is cramped and the resolution is lackluster. Unless you are buying this specifically for a child to watch downloaded Prime cartoons in the backseat of a car, the Fire HD 8 offers a claustrophobic experience that lags behind almost every other option on the market. Number 8. This entry is a collective grouping of hardware that many consumers might be tempted to buy on the used market, specifically the older iPad models, ranging from the original iPad up to the iPad Air 1 and iPad Mini 3. It is a tragedy of modern tech that hardware, which was once revolutionary, eventually becomes hazardous. These devices, released between 2010 and 2016, are technically obsolete. They are no longer receiving software updates or security patches from Apple. This is not a trivial matter. In 2025, using a device that has not seen a security patch since 2019 or 2021 is a digital risk. Financial apps will refuse to run websites, will fail to load due to outdated browser protocols, and the battery degradation on these decade-old units means they are tethered to the wall. Chisona's 2025 buying guide explicitly warns that these models are slow, unsafe, and unsupported, yet reseller markets continue to hawk them to uninformed buyers looking for a cheap entry into the Apple ecosystem. This is a purchase that should be avoided entirely. These tablets are artifacts of a different era, and trying to force them into the workflow of 2025 is a futile exercise in frustration. Number 7, we see a slight glimmer of hope with the Amazon Fire Max 11. This is Amazon's attempt to dress up its restrictive ecosystem in premium clothing. Launched in 2023 and continuing through 2025, this tablet features a metal body and a surprisingly decent 11-inch 2K display. It feels good in the hand. It looks like a modern tablet. But the moment you turn it on, the illusion shatters because you are once again greeted by the restrictive Fire OS. The Fire Max 11 is a confusing product. It has the hardware to be a decent productivity machine, but the software prohibits it. You cannot easily install the productivity tools you likely use like the full Google Suite or Microsoft Office without jumping through hoops that average users should not have to navigate. Tom's Guide praised it as a utility tablet with decent battery life and good performance for streaming, but the verdict remains the same as its smaller sibling. It is a portal for Amazon consumption. If you are a Prime member who wants a premium feeling screen to watch movies and shop, this is a viable option. But priced around $180, it sits dangerously close to real Android tablets that offer total freedom, making it a hard recommendation for anyone outside the Amazon cult. Number 6. The narrative shifts dramatically with the Samsung Galaxy Tab A9 Plus. This is the turning point in our list, the moment where the graph of price and value finally intersects in a positive way. For approximately $200, Samsung has managed to deliver a genuine, no-compromise tablet experience. This device does not ask you to apologize for your budget. The screen is an 11-inch panel with a 90 Hz refresh rate, making scrolling feel fluid and responsive, a stark contrast to the stuttering 60 Hz panels found on the Fire tablets. It runs a full version of Android with Samsung's One UI, meaning you have unbridled access to the Google Play Store. Perhaps most critically for the budget user, it retains features that premium tablets have foolishly abandoned. It has a headphone jack. It has a microSD card slot, allowing you to expand the base 64 gigabytes of storage to over a terabyte cheaply. PC Mag identified this as the best affordable Android tablet, and Consumer Reports noted that Samsung tablets collectively earn top ratings for predicted reliability. It even supports Samsung DeX, which mimics a desktop interface, allowing for surprising productivity when paired with a keyboard. It is not a powerhouse for video editing, but for a student or a casual user. It is the first tablet on this list that respects you as a user. It is the gold standard for the entry level. Number 5. Climbing into the mid-range, we find a device that attempts to bridge the gap between consumption and creation, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 FE Plus. The FE stands for Fan Edition, a branding exercise that essentially means premium features at a slightly reduced cost. Released in April 2025, this tablet is Samsung's direct challenge to the iPad Air. The value proposition here is aggressive. For a price significantly lower than Apple's mid-range offering, Samsung gives you a massive 13.1-inch display, and crucially includes the S Pen stylus in the box. With an iPad, that pen is a $100 separate purchase. The Tab S10 FE Plus is powered by the Exynos 1580 processor, which delivers smooth performance adequate for productivity and light creative work. TechRadar identified it as having the best battery life in its class, often exceeding 13 hours of video playback. Furthermore, it carries an IP68 rating for water and dust resistance, a durability feature completely absent from the iPad lineup. It is a workhorse. It lacks the raw horsepower of the flagship models, but for a digital artist, on a budget, or a student who takes handwritten notes, it represents arguably the best value for money in the entire Android ecosystem, supported by a 7-year update commitment that guarantees longevity. Number 4. This entry is a specialist a device that asks a different question entirely. The Google Pixel tablet is not trying to be a laptop replacement. It is trying to be the center of your home. Released in 2023 and maintaining its presence through 2025, the Pixel tablet's defining feature is its magnetic charging speaker dock. When attached, the tablet transforms into a smart display. A hub for your smart home controls a digital photo frame and a voice-activated assistant. When detached, it is a capable 11-inch Android tablet powered by the Tensor G2 processor. Stuff.tv praised it as an effective smart display while docked and a capable entertainment slate while carried around. It runs the purest version of Android optimized specifically for larger screens, with split-screen multitasking that feels intuitive, thanks to recent Android 14 and 15 updates. However, it is a niche product. Once removed from the dock, it loses some of its magic, and the camera hardware is lackluster compared to competitors. It is ranked here because it excels at a specific lifestyle integration that no other tablet attempts. If you want a device that lives in your kitchen or living room and occasionally travels to the sofa, the Pixel tablet is a unique and brilliant solution. Number 3, we now reach the podium, and the bronze medal goes to a device that has disrupted the 2025 market more than any other. The Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro is a flagship killer in the truest sense of the word. This Chinese manufacturer has produced a tablet that matches the iPad Air spec for spec, but sells it at nearly half the price. The hardware is staggering. It features an 11.2-inch display with 3.2K resolution and a 144Hz refresh rate delivering visual fluidity that puts even the non-pro iPads to shame. Under the hood beats the Snapdragon 8's Gen 3 processor, a chip that provides flagship-grade performance, capable of crushing demanding games and multitasking workflows. The battery is a massive 8850 mAh unit that supports 67-watt fast charging, topping the device up in under 80 minutes, a speed that Apple simply cannot match. Stuff.tv highlighted it as almost everything an Android tablet shopper could want, with no real weak links. The only reason it does not rank higher is the software. Xiaomi's HyperOS, while improved, still lacks the polish and tablet-optimized app library of Apple's iPadOS. Additionally, availability can be spotty in Western markets, often requiring import. But purely on a hardware per dollar basis, the Xiaomi Pad 7 Pro is the undisputed champion of 2025. Number 2, taking the silver medal, is the standard bearer for the creative industry, the Apple iPad Air M3. The 2025 refresh of the Air line has solidified its position as the default choice for professionals who do not need the absolute bleeding edge. Available in 11 and 13-inch models, this tablet is powered by the Apple M3 chip, the same silicon found in many of Apple's laptops. This brings desktop-class architecture to a slate form factor. The performance is overkill for web browsing, but perfect for video editing in Final Cut Pro music production in Logic Pro and heavy photo manipulation. The display is Apple's Liquid Retina technology, which offers perfect color accuracy for designers. Crucially, the M3 Air supports the new Apple Pencil Pro, adding hover functionality and squeeze gestures that change how artists interact with their canvas. Stuff.tv confirmed it as the clear winner for the premium tablet category, noting that for 90% of users, the Air provides an identical experience to the Pro for hundreds of dollars less. It is the safe, reliable, and powerful choice for anyone embedded in the Apple ecosystem, serving as the gatekeeper to professional creative work. Number 1. Finally, we arrive at the summit. The best tablet you can buy in 2025, if money is no object, is the iPad Pro M4. This machine is an exercise in engineering excess. Apple has redesigned the chassis to be impossibly thin, with the 13-inch model measuring just 5.1 millimeters in thickness, making it the thinnest product in Apple's history. But the physical design is secondary to the display. The iPad Pro M4 utilizes what Apple calls tandem OLED technology. This involves stacking two OLED panels on top of one another to achieve brightness levels that standard OLEDs cannot reach, hitting 1000 nits of sustained full-screen brightness and higher peaks for HDR content. The result is a screen with infinite contrast and blinding highlights, a reference monitor you can carry in a backpack. Inside, the proprietary M4 chip features a 10-core CPU and a 10-core GPU with a neural engine capable of 38 trillion operations per second. Phone Arena testing confirmed that this chip outperforms the M2 and M3 by significant margins, creating a performance ceiling so high that no current app can truly hit it. It is a device of pure potential. It supports the full suite of professional apps, drives external displays, and with the Magic Keyboard essentially becomes a modular laptop. It is expensive, starting well over $1,000, but it represents the absolute apex of what a tablet can be. In conclusion, the tablet market of 2025 is a story of fragmentation. If you buy based on price alone, you risk falling into the trap of the Alldocube or the Fire HD8. The sweet spot lies with Samsung's Tab A9 Plus and Xiaomi's Pad 7 Pro. But for creation, Apple's M series, iPads remain the kings of the hill. Choose your tool wisely.